The police have conducted raids in the homes of alleged zamazamas in Matole here in Johannesburg. It comes after the arrest of several suspected illegal miners in Riverlea, where several people have been killed in turf wars between rival gangs, and how several communities affected by illegal mining are still living in fear, despite promises by the police minister to end the scourge. And we speak now to Meshack Mbangula, National Coordinator of Mining Affected Communities United in Action. Meshack, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. I mean, it's just truly astonishing as to the extent of the zamazamas and their operations. We heard that there's even a headquarters. There has been cache of arms and grenades and explosives being found. Is the country a threat, in your view? Some have even called it an act of terrorism.
Well, yeah, I can say the country is under siege, as we speak. One is because who created this platform is the mine that is mined and looted the minerals, take the gold, and without rehabilitating or closing these mines, and leave the very same people who are working in these mines, when looking at the issues of unemployment, inequality, poverty, and people will obviously go down there and try and get something to put on the table. But we started engaging DMRE as early as 2015, 2016 to try and look at this sector and reform it to make sure that everyone understands who's working there, who's responsible for those parts, and it will gonna be part of trying and is reducing the issue of unemployment. But unfortunately, DMRE decided to say, no, we're not prepared to talk to thugs. And now it's over, it's out of hand. It's very difficult because the DMRE is not even engaging to try and resolve these issues. It's standing aside. Police don't know what is shaft, how shafts are working, where are the shafts. They're just treating the symptoms. But if you can get people who understand and we engage the very same zamazamas and say, how can we formalize the sector, decriminalize and make sure this works very well for the country? If we can open that platform, we definitely sure something will happen. But unfortunately, no one wants to listen. And as long as there is poverty, unemployment, inequality, the zamazamas will keep on working. The zamazamas will keep on going there. And unfortunately, the police are just reacting. We need to be proactive and work out how can we solve this problem.
Meshack, are you saying that this approach, maybe by the police, could backfire? That there is perhaps a pragmatic approach of engagement with the zamazamas and communities affected through these activities?
Yes, definitely so. Because you see, when the mine is supposed to close, they have to kind of have a contingency plan of skilling these people before the mine closes, so that other sectors can be marketed in other sectors. But the only skill they have is mining. And when the mine closes down, unemployment rate, and they're sitting down there, nobody wants just to sit and die with poverty. When you know, when I can go down there, I can get. But if we formalize the sector and be able to talk to this thing, and in fact, the zamazamas, the number is growing up. When we started engaging them in 2014, there were a number that we can easily, talk to and organize. But unfortunately, the unemployment rate is going up. Everyone will follow. Even the thugs will now go there and do the wrong things. That's what is happening.
But you almost, Meshack, you almost legitimize the illegal activity, mining activity, even by calling them zamazamas, because loosely translated, zamazama means the one who tries to fend for themselves. You go fishing, etc., so that you can feed your families. But the illegality thereof still remains, that the zamazamas ought not to be mining there, even if it's a disused mine. They are doing this in a clandestine way that is also affecting communities in the area, let alone the environmental hazards that they create as well.
You see, we only look at this issue of zamazamas. These so-called formalized big mines, who went out there and looted minerals and even forced people out of their land to do this mining, loot minerals. It's not an issue. And some people, if not zamazamas, we have Richard in Boksburg, who fell into this shaft. As of today, that guy was not found. But nothing happens to the big mines because they are untouchable. But when we talk, if we say it's illegal, even the mines that were left behind, without rehabilitation, closing of the mines. It's illegal as well. We have to treat everything equally so, not because they've got money, these are zamazamas and so on. What we are saying in the issue of zamazamas is that because of unemployment, poverty that is there, these people find themselves, nobody, if you can ever go underground, you will see that is how they risk their lives to go down there. But it's because of sometimes you need to make a living, because our government have created a dependency syndrome where we have to depend to 350 and so on. And not everybody getting 350. Somebody will try and get something and make out of a living. If we call it illegal, then let's try and engage to make it legal by engaging the very same people to say, how do we solve the problem? By mere looking and say it's illegal, police must go there and try and solve the problem. The police won't even solve the problem because they don't understand what is mining, how shafts work and everything. We need people, the very same people, to engage them to say, to make sure to stop this thing. Because now it's increasing. We've got syndicates who use the very same zamazamas to go down there. And those syndicates are the people who are in the market, who, because the minerals that they take, they end up in the formalized market. Who's doing that is the zamazamas and giving to the formalized people to rightful, and it end up in the. So the people, the syndicate, is making the increase of zamazamas to go down there and get them and make them rich. And those people are selling these minerals at a very, very cheap price for them just to make a living.
Meshack, maybe you can give us, paint a picture for us in terms of the extent of these Zamazama operations. I'm not sure if you might have a national a sort of viewpoint as to the extent, how many zamazamas are there, how many mines that are abandoned and in disuse, communities that are affected as well, so we know the magnitude of what it is that the country is facing.
In South Africa, we've got something like 6,500 abandoned mines, abandoned shafts that are there. And now you must understand that is, we have Free State, we have Johannesburg, we've got Klerksdorp, we've not got all the provinces where there's mining, there's now zamazamas. And the number is obviously more than 30,000 of these people working in these areas. And if those people, we were able to engage them earlier, we would have been able to see how do we monitor the situation. But the number is getting very big because everyone now starting to understand that there is money doing there, and even gangsters are coming there. When it started, I'm not saying we should condone the issues of people going down the path. We should look at how can we reform the sector and make it legally so to make sure, because the unemployment rate is very high and it's increasing. It's not going down. And if we have opportunities of looking at other sectors where we can create jobs, because our government is not doing anything to create jobs. Unemployment rate is high, crime is going up. This is a sector where we can look at and say, how can we make this sector? Because we've got underground mining, we've got surface mining, and all these things need to be engaged to make sure that we protect the sector, we protect communities.
Yes, I understand that you're saying there has to be a multifaceted approach in dealing with the matter, but there's also the issue around the porous borders, undocumented illegal immigrants who are potentially involved in this particular illegal activity and perpetuating the unemployment rate for the locals, let alone that you're saying they risk their lives, and we ought to be sympathetic towards that. The reality is that it is also a national insecurity risk. For the mere fact that even the police themselves are said to be outnumbered or not having adequate ammunition, and the force and the brutality that the zamazamas display. So it is a threat to society. It's not a case of, we need to be sympathetic because they're just trying to fend for themselves.
You see, let me give you a bit of history. How the mining, when mining started in South Africa. I always tell people that there's that song of Hugh Masekela, whose song that is there's a train that comes from Namibia, Zimbabwe, Angola, Lesotho, collecting people, men, to come and work in the mines of South Africa for cheap labor and slavery. And those people, they came here. Those are the people who built Johannesburg, who dig down underground and work for nothing. And they lost their families. And when the mine closed down, they were left here without any working permit. and they didn't have money to go back, and they stuck here for many, many years. With the mining stuck here. Who brought these people here? We shouldn't look at these people as if they smell, that is, there are minerals there. The very same big mines that have left today, have looted minerals without benefiting communities, have left the very same people to starve. And the very same people I'm saying to you are the only skill they have is mining underground. And when these mines finished looting the minerals, they didn't rehabilitate, they didn't close this shaft. They are the ones who are criminals, because if they've closed this shop, we would have been able to use the very same land for agriculture, for building houses, for other sectors to create employment. They did not do exactly that. So we have to look at all the angles of who really created the very same problems that we're having and start from there, not treat just the symptoms of now. But let's go down there and make sure who's, because when we engage DMRE and say the Zamazamas are working there, they say you cannot allow that because that place belongs to this mine. But when you say to DMRE, we need somebody to rehabilitate, the owner of these mines to rehabilitate, there's some issue, we don't know who's that.
All right, Meshack, I'm afraid we're out of time, sir, but thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you joining us. That's Meshack Mbangula. He's the National Coordinator of Mining Affected Communities United in Action, just raising the issues that there are alternative ways of engagement, a more pragmatic way that will create a win-win situation if all the parties concerned and stakeholders come to some form of a amicable solution.